Admit it. You guys really thought I was gone, eh? Well, hit the music. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to our very first proper, this time, SimCo video on the channel. And it's obvious where we'll start, right? We don't even have a friggin' company to speak of. So how on earth can we call ourselves a SimCo YouTube channel without having a friggin' company? So, let's change that and make a company that will absolutely destroy the so-called competition. That's right, so let's conquer this, am I right? So, a company name. Obviously, a company name is quite important. You can all guess why. The game itself says it here as well. How do you want other players to see you? Proper branding is important to get the most out of partnerships. And I'm telling you, some players, oh, they take it to the next level. Oh yes, because I've seen some crazy ass names out there. I have not even gonna attempt really telling you guys about it. I mean, yeah, for obvious reasons. You are a family business, huh? Yeah, sure. I mean, no, we will actually at least somewhat stay true to our human nature and make this a family-friendly show. So, yeah, let's call ourselves, obviously not High YouTube. I mean, that's too simple. Let's go with something, you know, that has a little bit of punch to it. So, maybe this guy's... Yeah, sounds legit. Yeah, totally not. No, I know a better one. This is absolute. For those of you who actually play sim companies, oh, you will absolutely love this one. No, let's not dive into that. No, let's not do that. That's a story for another day, folks. That's a very nice story for another day. I know what to go for. I've got an amazing name. Obviously, I thought this through, and you guys will absolutely love this one. All right, so. It'll work eventually. I love it. This will be amazing. Alright, now, let's start playing. Now with our most glorious company name set, you will immediately get smacked in the face with obviously a tutorial to get some form of understanding of the game. The tutorial is as old as the game is and as useful as tits on a fish. So yeah, but luckily for you folks, y'all got me to help you out. So, there's that. Don't forget, it'll work out eventually. Alright, so that's the name of our company. So, let's at least try and follow the tutorial and understand just what the heck is going on here. Obviously, this video will be mainly for those who just start out, who don't have an idea what they're getting themselves into. Because this game is huge. So, let's tackle things one by one. So, first off, speaking of huge, you'll get introduced to, kids. Daddy will be home soon. The food is in the microwave, and don't touch anything remotely suspicious, such as my, DVD collection and all of that.
I want a diamond ring, I want some bracelets and everything. Daddy, you better get the best one.
Alright, Papa is back. I had a wonderful time, I can tell you. So, yeah, let's just follow the tutorial, and I will obviously explain whilst we go. So, a quick tutorial will show you how to navigate the game. And we are going to produce 50 apples. So just follow the action indicators like this one up here. So, let's click that, and just follow through and, try and understand the game. So obviously the game wants us to produce and sell 50 apples both. Find out how to produce apples. So the first thing you will see here, obviously in your screen, will be your mini map. The map will show you basically everything that you need to see of your company. For example, we do have a farm right here, so we can grow crops and stuff. It's a level 1 farm, obviously, because we just started out. We also have a grocery store, which is also level 1. A farm is a so-called production building, more on this later, and a grocery store is a so-called retail building. Whatever we produce in the farm, obviously, will be sold in the grocery store. And you can obviously click on it too. So, here's our farm. Don't sweat too much. I mean, there's a lot of information here, but most is just obvious, straight to the point. We can produce all kinds of stuff, from apples, oranges, grapes, wood, all the way down to veggies and even more stuff. if we go back to the map, you obviously have the grocery store, and you can do basically the same as with the farm. You can click on it, and you can see here the list is almost exactly the same, and it has all kinds of stuff that you can sell here, as the apples, the oranges, the grapes, and all that stuff. That's our basic mini-map, and it also has the headquarters right here, which is your HQ of your company. The exchange market, we'll take a look at that soon. The game wants us to go here in order for us to go to the encyclopedia, because this right here is your bread and butter. This is where you can find all the needed information on everything almost in the game. Not everything, but almost everything. So let's go to the encyclopedia. Now, it allows players to see where everything can be produced, sold, and what resources are needed. You can see that apples are produced on the farm, and they need some inputs. The input resources are very important, and you'll see why. So, for apples, in order to produce apples, we will need 2 input resources, which are water and seeds. We need 3 units of water, and we need 1 unit of seeds. Alright, as the game suggests, buy water on the exchange. So let's do that. Let's press continue and go to the exchange. There are actually 2 ways that you can go to the exchange, as the game says here as well. You can either press the button here down below, which says to go to exchange, and you can go to the exchange on this building here by clicking on it. So let's do it both. As you can see, here's the exchange. It allows goods trading between all players of sim companies, and you can use it to buy or sell resources that you cannot or do not want to produce or retail yourself. Here's the 2 words again, produce and retail. You can see we can go to that screen via the building or right down here with the button. Let's buy 150 units of water because we need to buy water. By the way, all these listings that you can see here are actual players. Maybe there's just 1 or 2 NPCs in it, but almost all listings are all players like you and me, just putting their products in the MP. So, and you can obviously refresh the page for if somebody, for example, bought something. There was 6k water here, and you can see that's already bought. So let's buy 150 units of water. So 2 very important pieces of info will be right on your screen. For example, the price of each unit, which is $0.361 per unit of water. And on top you can see the total amount of money that you will pay for that water. You can see right here in our bank we currently got 500 bucks, and that 500 bucks is basically the money you will get for free when starting out a new company. Yes, really, you will start with just 500 bucks to your name. So you're gonna be, well, in debt. You're gonna be scrambling all money that you can find in order to survive in the beginning. Later on you will have millions of bucks, really, no issue, and we'll help you with that. So let's buy the 150 units of water. There we go, very easy. And we need seeds for those apples, remember? So let's go to the seeds. There it is, enter 50 and click buy. Obviously, just like with the water, here are all the players that are listing their seeds for sale. Let's do 50 and buy that. You can see seeds are much more cheaper than water. And there we have it. We've got seeds, we've got water, we've got a farm. So there's one thing to do. Go straight back to the map, go to your farm, and here it is. This is your farm, and it can grow a variety of products. To set production, you need to input the resources that we bought and money to cover, obviously, the wages of your workers. More on this later. And you will only pay them when they work. So when the building is idle, you don't pay anything, obviously. So the building can also be expanded to increase your production output. So here are the apples that we've talked about. Let's put in 50. Why do we put in 50? Because that's exactly the amount of water, which is 150 and 50 seeds, that we bought on the exchange or on the MP. You will often hear MP instead of exchange. MP basically means marketplace, because it's just the place where people buy and sell stuff. So yeah, that's why we call it MP. Anyways, so let's produce those 50 apples. You will be greeted with even more information here on the screen. For example, how much time it will actually take for you to complete 50 units of apples here on the farm. It will also tell you what the labor cost will be, which is basically the wages of your workers, and it will tell you the unit cost. This is extremely important because you obviously want to know how to decrease the unit cost of each of your apples because you want to get as much profit as humanly possible, am I right? So we're gonna dive into that later. But anyways, let's just produce the 50 apples for now. And it says here 14 minutes, but because we are doing a tutorial right now, the game will speed things up so you can learn the ropes. So let's produce that. There we go. And you can see $1.88 per unit. If you go to your warehouse, you can see the water and the seeds are now gone, disappeared, because obviously you've used it in your farm. And if we go back to the warehouse, which is the second button down here, you can see here are the apples, 50 units for $1.88. If you click on it, again, you will get a whole bunch of info. You can do all kinds of lovely stuff here in the warehouse. And I will make a new video about the warehouse itself because you can do so much stuff here. I mean, it's just crazy. But anyways, some important info that I will give right from the get-go. Here you can see some very important info on production, retailing, and profit. You can see here, how is that $1.88 calculated? Well, workers, administration costs, but most of that total cost consists of water costs, which is almost 60%, and a small amount thanks to seeds, which totals out with $1.88. You can see here that the average retailing price, if you would retail these apples that you just produced yourself for not even $2, is $6. A 300% increase. That is just absolutely amazing. You can obviously buy these apples straight from the exchange, from the MP, and you can see here it's $2.55, which is slightly more than $1.88, but still, even if you would buy it from the exchange, from the MP, you would get way more profit out of this. So let's get back to the map because the tutorial asks us to sell the apples in retail in the grocery store. So let's go to the grocery store, and it's basically exactly the same like any other building. This is your grocery store. You can get money for the products you sell here, either that you've bought from other players on the exchange, MP, or produced yourself. Obviously, producing it yourself will give you far more profit because you will produce it at a much lower price than if you would buy it. Setting the right price is really an art, and this is no exaggeration. It is really an art because it will take you a lot of experience in order to know what the best possible pricing will be for your products. But for now, you can either stay a little bit up or a little bit down of the average price. For now, we're gonna retail 50 apples, and we're gonna go with $7 instead of $6.17. As the game says, it will take almost an hour, but as stated before, this is a tutorial, so it will be sped up. And here we go, sell the 50 apples, and you see it'll just take us 10 seconds, and I mean, I'm jealous for all players that are beginning because they will get a buff for, I think it's like 3 days if I remember correctly. We'll see in a moment. Anyways, so the game asks us to check out the cash flow, and you can do so by pressing here on your HQ, headquarters. You can access your company overview here. There's obviously not much information here right now because we just started the company, but in a couple of days you will see a lot of information here, and that is very nice to see. You really need to keep your head with all the info, especially the accounting info of your company, so you can know what to improve, what to spend your time and money on, etc. And besides that, as the game says, you can raise funds or hire executives in your headquarters, which will be very important for later. Anyways, let's go to the accounting page right here, and here are the accounting reports. You can see cash receipts and reimbursements because we obviously earned some money from retailing those apples. And there will be a lot of information here as stated before. So you can see here, we started out with $500, we bought water on the market for 54, bought seeds on the market for 14, and we produced apples for $26. You can also see from who you have bought your seeds from, which is Cyrus Tech, and over here it's Tain Tech. All right, and then we sold it for a whopping $218. And you can ask every entrepreneur in life that is a very good investment. Alright, so we now got a total of $624 on our name, and we started with 500. So you can see you can quite quickly get some cash if you make the right decisions. Anyway, so now the tutorial, believe it or not, is over, and as I said before, the tutorial is really not that great, but at least it will give you some form of idea on how the game works. So now to continue playing, you just press the sign up button and you will get 10,000, oh this is great, 10,000 units of water, which is a lot. You will also get 10,000 units worth of power. You can either sell that or use that. And lastly, you will get 5,000 transportation units, and these are very important. These are quite expensive. Sometimes they can be more expensive than water even. But anyways, let's sign up and then see what the game asks us to do. And obviously it will ask us to sign in with a specific account. This can be a Facebook account, it can be an Apple account, or with an email address. I will now sign up and make an account for this company with an email address, and then I'll be back with you guys soon. And here we are, folks. I've attached a new email address to this. We are done with the tutorial and we can now start to do something with our company finally. So here it is, tutorial finished. You'll get $12,000 for completing the tutorial, as well as the stuff that I've said before, which is 10,000 power, 10,000 water, and 5,000 transport. Now comes basically the most important part of your company, which is what the hell are you going to do with this company? Because you need to have a plan. You need to have something to work towards. What industry are you going to specialize yourself in eventually? So you need to plan things ahead in order for you to know what to do. So obviously most players will not know anything about this. They don't know which industries are more profitable than others, which industry is beginner friendly, and so on and so forth. For now, let's just, make some money, basically. Let's just produce some stuff in our farm. Let's sell some stuff in our grocery stores or something. I don't know, see if we can get some very nice deals with other players, see how the leveling system works, and all that basic stuff. Also, very important, as you can see on top, we will get a 3 times time boost for 24 hours, which is absolutely fantastic. This will really help your company grow in these very early stages. Alright, so let's start with dismissing all of this because you folks got me to help, right? Let's go back to that farm and see what we can do. There is, for example, a production speed increase for sugarcane. Also for vegetables, and I would say, make use of anything that can help you with your production speed early on, because you will earn money from that, obviously. And I really like the idea of making use of this 18% production increase for sugarcane, so I think I'm gonna do that. However, we do have the water, which is 10,000, but we don't have the seeds, so I think it's a good idea to first start with some seeds. So let's go with, I don't know, 2,500. It will take an hour, so let's at least do that. The first time when you do anything, whether it's producing something or selling something in your retail buildings, you will get a free 5 sim boosts per day. But sim boosts are the premium valuta of this game. You can buy anything with this almost, and it's a very, very important resource to have. So let's collect the 5 free sim boosts that you will get each day. Back in the day, 2023, 2024, it used to be 10 daily, so now it's just 5. But anyways, it's free, so yeah, why the heck not? So do try to log in each day to at least get your 5 free sim boosts, and then just, produce, retail, whatever the hell you'd like to do. So we've got our sim boost, we got our seeds going, and obviously we got a grocery store that's currently doing nothing. More importantly, as you can see here in the list, there's no sugarcane. So I'm planning to either sell the sugarcane that I will be producing in my farm to players or on the exchange, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. But now we don't want buildings to sit idle. Buildings that sit idle don't cost you any money, for sure, but they don't earn you any experience, and we really need to level up as quickly as possible. We're just level 0 currently. and more importantly, it will not earn you money. So how the hell do I decide on which crop or which food item or whatnot to sell and what will give me the best money? For this, we got tools that will really help you out and advise you on which ways to go for. Let's introduce you all to SimCo tools. And here it is, SimCo tools. This website is an absolute godsend. It will really, as it says here, elevate your gameplay. It gives you so much information that you will really need in order to differentiate yourselves from other smaller companies. This will really elevate your game. First off, right from the bat, you can see that there are two different servers here. The first is called Magnates, which is the R1 server, and there's also a R2 server, which is Entrepreneurs. R stands for Realm, by the way. You have Realm 1 and you've got Realm 2. As you can see, Magnates has more active companies. It has so much value that is unbelievable. A lot of buildings, and total amount of bonds sold is obviously much higher than Entrepreneurs. I mean, less than 50% of Magnates. Magnates is basically the standard server, the main server everybody starts out on. So let's choose Magnates over here. And then you will be greeted by a whole bunch of stuff, lots of information. So let's go to Market, which is right here. And here you can see all the stuff that you can either produce, retail, buy, whatnot, like milk, for example. You can see some very important info, like, you know, just like with stocks, you can see the price shifts in a certain time frame. You can see the current VWAP, which is very important for later. You can see the contract discounts. You can see all kinds of stuff, current volume. It's a very important tool to have. But for now, in order for you to know which item to sell, which will give you the most profit, will be your so-called retail calculator. This is a very important tool. So obviously we are going to choose the grocery store, which is here. The current economy phase, we'll just do current. You can also reload market prices here, reset and all that shit. So let's go with administration overhead, which is obviously just 0. We have nothing. Levels is 1 because the building level is 1. And then we have a sales bonus. And I think we don't have any sales bonus if you start out. It's just, well, 0%. And as you can see here, sale bonus is 0%. Let's do 0. Then we'll go to the right and you can see right here which item will give you the most profit of all. And currently, believe it or not, it's eggs, with on second steak. So if we go and retail eggs, it will give us quite a good amount of money. You can either go with eggs or you can go with steaks, which is $175 profit, or you can go with the third best, which is just slightly above orange juice, and that is apple cider. And I know from experience, apple cider, coffee powder, and things alike, they are very nice indeed to retail. But let's just go with eggs for now, why not? So let's go to the exchange. Remember, you can either go via this building or the button down below. So let's go to exchange, and here you have the different categories that you can choose from. Seasonal items, resources, automotive, and all of that. So let's go to food. Here's eggs. And you can see we've got all kinds of lovely companies here that sell them lovely eggs. Let's go for the first one. Luckily for us, the most cheap egg listing on here is also a so-called quality 1 or 1-star egg. We will talk about quality and rarity later on in a couple of videos. For now, it's just important for you to know, here are some eggs. They're nice, they're even good quality eggs, and let's just buy a couple to retail them in our grocery store. So let's go with, I don't know, 100 eggs or something. Let's at least try to buy 100 eggs. It's just 132 bucks. Let's go back to our map. Let's go to the grocery store, and here down below are eggs. So why did I just buy 100 instead of, I don't know, 1,000 or 2,000? This is just to see how much time it will actually take to sell 100 eggs. So let's try that. You can see that the average price is $2.62, and we're obviously going to stay a little bit below that in order to sell these eggs quicker. So for example, let's do $2.50. And you can see it just takes 7 minutes, which is very nice. And you can see the profit will be 62 cents per unit, obviously, not in total. This is per unit. You can obviously increase the price, which will increase the profit, but it will also increase the time it will take to sell all of these eggs. Instead of 100, let's go with 500 in total. So let's buy another 400 from the exchange, and let's hope the Q1 is still there. Let's refresh the page. Well, even better, there's even a cheaper one from Flexima GmbH, which is a German company then. Let's go with 400, buy for 524. There you go. Go back to the map, go to the grocery store, and let's see how much time this will take. It's better to spend as much time producing as you are retailing. Why is that? Because when your production or your retail is done, your other building is also done at the same time, and then you can just, build or upgrade or produce and retail all over again in one go, instead of waiting for each building when it's done in their time. So it's a little bit, time efficient for that. So manage your time correctly, just like in real life. So let's go with all 500 eggs, and let's go with, I don't know, $2.50, and you see it will take 40 minutes to complete, to finish. And you can see it's almost exactly the same like the seeds. So let's stretch that just a little bit more. Let's go with 255. Well, we can go even higher than that. Let's do 265. Yeah, 265 is great. It will give you 70 cents profit per unit. And yeah, that's just the way to go, I think. Yeah, you see 1 minute difference, so that's perfect. Another tip that I'll give you guys is this magnifying glass. This magnifying glass will really help you out. Why is that? For time management purposes and just quality of life. Because every single time that you go to your grocery store, if you want to sell eggs, you can see it's not listed up top. You need to scroll down for it. But if you press this magnifying glass over here, bam, it's listed on top. Many players, even seasoned veterans, don't know this, so that's why I'm saying it. So that's a nice little tip there. And to prove it, let's go back to the grocery store, and there it is, eggs on top. And this works with every single building in the game, so farms as well. You can see here there are some seeds over here that are floating above the building. This is the seeds that the farm has produced from now, and you can see it's 482. It goes directly towards our warehouse. And if you press on the farm, you can do exactly the same as what we did before with the eggs. Click on the magnifying glass, seeds on top. Perfect. Now let's go back to our warehouse, and you can see here these are the seeds that we just produced on the farm, and the price for it is just $0.147, and you can see it's basically half of what it's currently on the MP. So this is quite good. In fact, I think, let's see here. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at the price difference with the third listing up here, which is 3.10, and then these two listings. These two are very cheap, so you can, in theory, buy these two out for 0.280 and then resell it later for a bigger price, let's say $2.90 or $2.95. Obviously, this is called reselling. You buy in cheap and you sell it for a much higher price, which will obviously give you a better profit. Let's refresh the page, and you can see immediately it got sold. Let's go with, I don't know, 5,000 seeds and see if we can resell that for a higher price. Let's just do that. There it is. Go back to the warehouse, and here you can sell things on the exchange. You can also send out a contract, but we'll not focus on that for now. We'll focus on that in the future. So let's sell on the exchange, 5,000 seeds, and there you go. Let's go for, I don't know, $2.95, because that's still way below $3.10. Sell on the exchange, and here comes some very important information for you to know. Two things. First, you can see that it will take 500 transportation units in order to sell these 5,000 seeds on the market. And know that these transportation units costs money. You'll get 5,000 for free for the tutorial. After that, you'll be paying money. Not only that, you will also pay a so-called MP fee or exchange fee for selling on the marketplace, which is 4%. It used to be 3%, now it's 4%. And this is quite important. Why do I say this? It cuts down on your profit, and you don't really want that. So it's much more profitable, better to sell directly to players via so-called contracts later on than just listing things on the MP. But anyways, let's just list it for $2.95 because we're filthy resellers, and let's see if we can get this sold. So here it is. Here's our listing. If we go to the exchange, seeds, there it is. It'll work eventually. I still love that name. It's just absolutely great. So 5,000 for $2.95. We bought it from Carlos P. Molina. So let's go back to the map and see what we can talk about next. You can see we do still have $10,000, and that $10,000 is quite important. Money that you got in your bank, you really need to spend that smartly. So for example, upgrading buildings or investing in other things like research for later on. But anyways, we'll talk about that later. The last thing that I'm going to talk about is the chat over here. You've got a chat, you got a search bar here down below. You can search all kinds of things like companies, items, and whatnot. You've got the warehouse, as we talked about before, the exchange, and chat. Chat will be a very important place to spend time on because that's basically where the community is, am I right? And more importantly, your personal assistant is here, and she will give you some very nice presents in the form of quests. So let's click on our personal assistant. And as the name tells, she is basically your personal assistant, and she will help you through your first couple of weeks and months of your company. So, hey boss, thanks for giving me the opportunity to work for you. I am sure we will prosper under your strong leadership. I can either say that's very kind of you to say, or you're welcome, now I'd like a cup of coffee. And you know, it'll work eventually, so just grab me a cup of coffee. So there it is. And we don't have a cup of coffee. Kids, I'll be back in another. Just joking, just joking. Anyway, so yeah, you need to wait a bit for your personal assistant to give you more quests. Obviously, this was not a quest. You're not gonna win or lose anything, but later on, these quests will really help you out, and I will dive further into this in our next video. So let's just, you know, give the farm its time. Produce some seeds, let's sell some eggs and see how it will work out eventually, am I right? So anyways guys, this is it for now. Thank you all for watching. I hope you found this video informative, and please subscribe to our channel so we can grow this awesome community and learn the ropes of the game even more and have some more fun with the game, because really it is such a great game. Anyways, nice having you folks, and I'll see you next time.
That's all, folks.